Joanne Mwangi is someone who I think at a time like this, we need to hear her voice. And so Joanne, if you can be able to switch on the video so that we can be able to see you, and I'll be able to get your microphone on also at the same time. Hi, Joanne, how are you doing?
Hi. Great to be here. Thank you so much, Waithaka.
I love your background. I love the fact that you have the space outside and there's no neighbors like in our place where we have construction happening. I could not be outside to do this. But what's exciting is that construction is still happening. And that's what's exciting. The jobs are still going on. There's still work happening. And so, as the founder and CEO of PMS Group Africa, I am pretty sure you have some ideas, some concepts that entrepreneurs at this time need to begin to think through, especially with the shifts that are going on within the market. How do we adapt and how do we build beyond this crisis of COVID-19? Please share your thoughts with us if you don't mind.
Awesome. Thank you very, very much. First of all, I just want to say it's awesome that Centonomy has organized this, because this is the time for this kind of interaction, for us to meet together as entrepreneurs and discuss the things that are really close to our hearts, the challenges we are all facing, because whether you're a big business or a small business, man, this COVID-19 has hit us. None of us was ready for it. And so we are being called to do things that we never knew we were supposed to do. We never planned for. None of us had this in their strategic plan. So you can imagine everybody is really working on the fly. And so this is the right time for us to be talking. So thank you very much. I really must thank Ruby also for inviting me and for organizing me. And our speaker, Derek, has started us off on the right foot. I love what he's saying about adaptability, flexibility, and really listening to the market and moving with the market. Now, for those of you who may not know me, my name is Joanne Mwangi. I'm the founder and CEO of PMS Group. PMS Group is a company that works 360 degrees marketing. We say that we work with your brand from conception to consumption. So we help you develop what it is your business idea is and turn it into a brand and get the brand into your consumer's hands, and then make sure your consumer continues using your product or service. So that's what we do. Now, that's in a nutshell. Now, last year, when we were working on our plans, one of the things that we had put, actually not last year, the year before, I'm sorry, I'm still in 2018, 2019, 2020 is not happening for me. Yeah? So in 2018, we actually had a program, a Stanford program. One of the things that we had to do was to make sure that we develop what we call a transformation plan. And in a business transformation plan, what you look at is how do you want to shift your business from A to B, C, D, whatever it is that your vision is, and it is a big vision. Now, this is really to encourage other entrepreneurs that whether you're a big business or a small business, the challenges tend to be very similar. It's only the scale. And what we said was that we were going to be a tech-enabled center for innovation, okay? Tech-enabled, limitless center for innovation. And do you know who the bottleneck was? It was me, because we were supposed to start doing remote work. But guess who needed to have a brick and mortar office? Because I'm used to it. I'm old school. And you know what? We could have done this 2 years, but COVID has made us do it and revolutionize within a week. And believe you me, the change has been positive. Now, the people listening fall into 3 categories, I would say. And I mean, all of you guys, we are either those of us who don't know what to do, we are struggling, this is the worst thing, and our business are literally flatlining. And then there are those who, like Derek, have gone through the curve, innovated, and they're doing something different to stay afloat, and they're probably doing better than they did before. And then there are those who are in that space, let me just say in French, comme ci, comme ça. They're just here, they're there. Their businesses are kind of plateaued. And so the season of uncertainty is what they're going through in terms of, is it going to stay this way? Is it going to change? We don't know. So there are 3 types of people that are in this audience with me. And so for the three types of people, all of us have got different challenges. But in terms of dealing, we shall all have to deal the same way, because innovation is the key. And I want us to say, the one thing I want you to remember, if you forget everything that I say, please remember that if you're not innovating, if you're not changing, if you're not revolutionizing the things that you do, then your business is dying. So those are the 3 things you must remember. Now, we've talked about the remote work revolution. All of us have been forced to understand what remote work is, and we need to embrace it and recognize that there are gains for it and also the negatives for it, such as lack of social interaction. But those gains, we must continue utilizing them. For example, maybe you've had an office that you were paying 1 million shillings, 10,000 shillings. I don't know what you are paying, but whatever it is you are paying, how much less can you pay? Can you use a shared space perhaps? Start thinking that way, because any coin you can save is a coin in your back pocket, and it's what will tide you through the hard times next time. Because you know what? Hard times are sure going to come. So we always hope for the best, but plan for the worst. Now, the other thing I want us to all think about is who moved our cheese? For anybody who has never read that book, Who Moved My Cheese? Please read that little book, because some of us stay in cheese station A when we should have been moving to cheese station C because the resources are getting depleted in the current station. So please, COVID is giving us the opportunity to all reinvent. And you know, the best thing about it is that for all entrepreneurs, right now, if you shift, if you do anything, can you imagine? You're so lucky, you just blame COVID, you know? You don't have to explain to anybody, oh, you know, I failed at that. No. It was COVID. And we are all in this together. So you have a chance to reinvent yourself. And you have it without losing any marks. So please take this opportunity. It applies to everyone, all of us. So if you see anybody innovating, changing what they used to do, that's a smart person, because they're getting the first mover advantage and they're moving out of a rut and moving into a place of abundance. Always move to a place of abundance, and places of abundance are numerous. Please don't wait too long, because if you wait for too long, what will happen is that the other person will have moved, and once again, you'll be going to a cheese station that is already empty. So please move quickly. Don't overthink it. Just think and move. If you listen to Derek carefully, he was very quick. His team changed. The team structure even changed. They all became marketers. So adaptability, flexibility, that is what we all must embrace. Want to say that in this time, the one thing you must continue doing, and as always with businesses, you must always continue doing, is that you must always track your competitors. What are your competitors doing? Because if they're moving in a particular direction, you need to look at, is that the direction you want to move or the opposite direction? And you know what? The bigger the risk, the greater the gain. So don't move as slowly as they're moving. Be the guy who's like gung-ho and doing things that people are saying, is she or is he crazy? The crazy guys are the ones who make it to the top. So be one of the crazies. And you know what? Once again, you can blame COVID. I also want to say, for your team, this is the time to renew capabilities. This is the time to have a steady stream of talent. Right now, any one of you in this audience who would love to work with PMS, this is the time we're hiring. And you know why we're hiring? Because we need that fresh talent to tell us things that we can no longer see. Because if you've been doing the same thing for 25 years like we've been doing, or rather I've been doing, because I'm the old one in the team, what happens is that you start doing things in a particular way and you don't see it any other way because you're blindsided. So what you need to do is to make sure you renew your team. Your team must be full of people with different ideas, contrary ideas. You know those cantankerous people, when you go for a think tank or you're brainstorming something, they always have those crazy ideas and you're like, what's wrong with this guy? How does he think? How is his brain wired? Those are the guys you need, because you know what? They go against the grain, and against the grain is where you get innovation. I want to give an example here of something that all of us are doing. Let's talk Netflix. I think most of us here, we are all using Netflix. That has become our comfort food when we are idle. Now, remember that there used to be DVDs that we used to hire. In Kenya, we didn't have Blockbuster, but we had several other people who are renting out DVDs, and you used to go and carry it from the guy and come home with it and have to return it, etc. And what did Netflix do? They simply turned it upside down because they looked at the business and asked, where is the inconvenience to the customer? So whatever you're doing, think of the customer. What is it that the customer is suffering, and meet that need? Solve a problem, solve a need, and straight away, you're in the money. The money will follow, guaranteed. And I will tell you, the one other thing I want you to remember that we said, if you're not changing, innovating, transforming, you're dying. The second thing I want you to remember is that right now, I want you to start fixing what isn't broken. And I will repeat, fix what isn't broken. Please do not wait for your business to get broken for you to fix it. For those whose businesses have flatlined, you're even better off. You have nothing to lose. It's already flatlined. So, you can fix it, and we are all going to fix it. And you know how you fix it? It's very simple. You look first and foremost at your profits. You look at, or your losses, as it may apply. And then you look at your growth trajectory. How was I growing? Was I a star, or was I really just growing slowly, struggling there? Please make sure that whatever it is that you're doing, you get to the place of greatest abundance. Once again, let me give an example. If what you are doing allowed you to make a maximum of 10,000 shillings a year or a month or a day, please add a 0 to that number and say, this is my new target. I want to make 100,000 shillings an hour, a day, a month, a week, a year, whatever your target was. And then with that extra 0, think, how can I get to that extra 0 in my numbers? And you know what? People are making that money. So why not you? Just think with abundance and with a lot of confidence. Don't be afraid. The world is your oyster. The world has got all those opportunities. And why not you if somebody else? I will also talk about the people that you have. First, your dream team is very important. And I know there's some entrepreneurs here who will be saying, you know what, my business is so small. I'm a one-man show. What is all this she's talking about? The dream team, what? Listen, your dream team doesn't have to be on your payroll. And that's the one thing you must always remember. Your dream team can include your sisters, your brothers, your mother, your wife, your cousin, your children, whoever it is. Anyone who can add value to your idea, to your business, that's your dream team. So what you do is that you sit down and you write a list of all those people that you'd love to get ideas from in your business, and sit down and write them down, and say, when I speak to so-and-so, this is what they're good at. I'm going to have them in my dream team. Every time I have a financial decision to make, these are the guys I'm going to talk to. When I have a legal decision to make, these are the guys I'm going to talk to. And you know what? Straight away, you have a big dream team. And you know what? They're not hired. You're paying them nothing. All you have to do is do a Zoom call or even just a regular WhatsApp call, and you've got all you need. So please don't feel lonely. Call on people. People are very happy to talk, because especially now we are all looking for that connection. And I'll tell you, most successful people love sharing ideas because they love to see other people succeed. Now, I'll talk about my final point, and that is, who is going to be at the top? Are you the best person to be leading your business? And I'm talking about this in terms of when you're running your business, sometimes the best person to run the business is not you, because perhaps you're so good at the technical, operational things. Let's use the example, you're an engineer or you're a mechanic. You're so good at fixing cars. But now you become CEO, and you know what you're doing? You're doing paperwork. So who is the right person to run the show? So sit back and do your internal diagnostics. What am I really good at? What is this place where I am excellent? And remember that you don't have to be the boss. So it could be your own company, but you don't have to be the CEO. You could actually be the marketing manager. You could be the project manager. You could be the mechanic, whatever it is you want to be. But think, what is it that's going to utilize me the best way? And finally, please do not apply yourself to tasks that are not worthy of you. So do not use a 10 million brain like the one you have to do jobs that can be done by somebody who has a 1 bob brain. Why would you insult yourself like that? So what I'm saying is, when you're thinking of your ideas, please remember that your capability is so great. Put it down in writing so that you never doubt it, and then utilize it to the full. All these people we read about in magazines, on Facebook, on Instagram, wherever we read about them, please, they have a small brain just like us. They just utilize it well to the full. So please utilize your brain fully. Do not use a 10 million brain to do a one bob task. In other words, delegate, delegate, delegate. And with that, I will close and I will say thank you very much. And thanks for listening. Thanks for joining us today. I'm really looking forward to the feedback. And as I said, we are hiring. So feel free to get in touch. Thank you.
Joanne, you're just amazing. As always, you should see the amount of notes that I've been taking down. As in, my pages are full.
Oh, thank you. It's such a pleasure.
Let me tell you, change is what is constant. I think that's what I got from you. If you're not changing, you're dying. Who moved my cheese? I'm going to go look for that again and just go through it one more time. Blame COVID. That's mine now. I've claimed that one. Any clients who come and make noise, it was COVID. It was COVID that did that. Always track your competitors, review your team and their capabilities. I find that amazing. Fix what is not broken. I got that. I think because we've still got you here, if someone would like to ask a question and you're on Zoom, you can raise your hand and we can get one question to come through, just so that there's feedback coming through. Rose is saying very powerful, time to reinvent, go crazy and blame COVID. That's Minnie. I'm trying to just see if anyone had a question that they'd like to ask. You can raise your hand there quickly. So here's Roy. Roy has a question for you. Hi, Roy. You can ask your question now.
Hello.
Yes, hi, go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Can you hear me? Yeah,
yes,
so
yes,
I'm Roy from India. I want to know during this pandemic, you're talking, most of the speakers are talking about increasing their marketing and sales. But my question is, other than the healthcare and the essential goods, the demand in other sectors is very less because the consumers doesn't have money in their hands. So how will you increase your sales in those sectors when the demand from consumers is less?
Okay, thank you very much, Roy. And it's lovely to hear from you from India. I've got lots of friends in India. I feel connected. What I'll say is that there's always demand because human need never ends. Let me give a specific example right now. All of us are using tools to connect. For example, Zoom. Zoom is exploding. It's a big deal now. Now, remember that there are a lot of people right now who are struggling even to understand how to connect to a webinar. That's a training opportunity. There are many businesses, when they're doing their remote work, they now need software that they will use to track the performance of their teams remotely. There are people who need video support so that they can be seeing what's happening remotely. Because we are now working in terms of social distancing, you need fewer people in the same location. So there are people also who have now got a new opportunity in ensuring that they are coming up with new designs of, for example, desks. And those are just the few ideas that come to the top of my head. Now, for each individual, your business is different. And I don't know what business you're in. I will say that whatever business you're in, you close your eyes and say, whatever I was doing, it was working. And you start fixing what wasn't broken. It was working. What is it I could have done? What can I do? What is the world calling for? Because remember, when you were born, you were not born and you came out and it was like, this one has popped out. This one is an engineer. This one has popped out. No, we made choices. So keep making those choices.
I think that's amazing. I said, Joanne, and that question was very important. There are some areas where we feel that the demand may be lower. And we were having a discussion with a bakery recently, and they were saying, people are not buying the same comfort foods from the supermarket. So the supermarket shelves are empty. If you go, you'll see some of the shelves might not have them. But what we realized was, as we had the discussion with the bakery, we still need that comfort chocolate in our house. So their delivery business has now significantly increased. And then the example that you gave was significant when you said, the example, that was in the chat box, where this company was doing clothing. There's a reduced demand in clothing, but there was a huge opportunity coming up in masks, face masks, because there's a huge undersupply in the market. And so they just immediately moved into it. So there was quite a powerful shift there. So Joanne, you're right. I'm just looking just to make sure I don't miss anybody else's question along the way. Here's one. There's a question about what are the tools that you're using to manage workers remotely? Any manager, any CEO, any entrepreneur is thinking, how do I know that they're not doing other businesses on the side? How do I make sure my work is getting done? What are you doing on your part?
Oh, actually, that's an awesome question. Thank you so much. Whoever asked it, that's a great question.
Perminas.
Thank you so much for that question. I'll tell you what, this time it's to shift our mindset. You know, we are used to people clocking in at 8 and leaving at 5. So please stop worrying about bums on seats and worry about performance and results. Even if that guy is doing other things, the whole day he's a gardener in somebody's shamba, but the work you needed, you get it done. Please don't worry what he's doing the rest of the time. It's your responsibility to give him enough work for him to stay busy. If you don't give him enough work, I'm sorry. So focus on results, not on process. And so be very clear about the results you want from this person. So for example, if I'm a bakery owner right now and I have to do those deliveries that you were talking about, I will focus on whether all the deliveries were done, not on whether this guy had 45 minutes where he was on a live chat like this. And also, if I'm in that biashara of the bakery, another opportunity still. Do you know, there are very many of us who are now baking because suddenly we are at home. We never were home. We are baking. So why are they not doing cake mixes that you can get delivered and I bake it myself and I get it fresh and I can show off how I baked and I didn't have to work so hard, you know? So there are very many innovations that we need to put in. But when it comes to the team, please allow fluidity. Allow people to work at their pace and when they want. The way we always talk, there are people who are night owls. And you know, there are those other people who are morning people like myself. So let people work when they can, focus on results. In terms of tools, there are many different tools. I can't really give the names here. I'm not advertising anybody, but I think you need to look at your business and see what works for you. And then spend time online looking for the tool and ask your peers. One of the things I will tell you is always collaborate with your competitors. Because if your competitor already has that tool, it costs them nothing to tell you that this is what I'm using. You won't take their business because they've told you the tool they're using. It's software. It's available. So the first thing you do, make friends with your competitors. You learn a lot from them and you don't have to make the same mistakes. Thank you. I think
the word that we were using at our office is our business coach, a lady called Lauren, taught us. It's called co-petition. We like that word because you're working together as you move forward. One last question before I let you take off. This is Njoki. She's asking, what is Joanne's advice on those who are using this time to work on their ideas? Aspiring entrepreneurs. What is your advice to them?
Oh, thank you so much, Njoki. That's another brilliant question. Actually, the smartest people in the world are those who are working on new ideas right now, because all of us are actually restarting our businesses post-COVID. Let's be real. No matter how much your business was growing, we've all gone through a period of turbulence where we shall have to go back and reinvent how we did a lot of our systems and processes. So if you're working on a new idea, we're in the same place. Joki, we are all in the same place. And this is the best time because you know what? As I said before, blame COVID, you know? Secondly, at this time, all the resources are available for free. If you go online, you look at Harvard, they're offering courses for free. You look at Stanford, they're offering courses for free. You go to The Economist, they're offering a lot of...
Centonomy.
Sorry?
You look at Centonomy, like what we are doing now.
Awesome. You come to Centonomy, you already know these are the smart people. They're offering courses like this for free. Take advantage of every resource. And another thing I want to tell everybody in the room, please don't ever be afraid to ask for help from the highest person you know in the whole world. So for example, if I want to get into politics, which I will never, the person I should ask to help me is not you in this room because, okay, I don't think you're in the room, Mr. So-and-so, but I would go straight to the guys who are the big boys in politics. So if I want to go to politics, I should not start by talking to the MCA. I should actually get guidance from somebody like Baba. You know, you get the drift from UK. You know, those people, because those are the seasoned people. They know that business. Don't be afraid to ask, because what they will tell you in one sentence is more than I can tell you in 6 weeks, because I don't know that. So go to the best resource available. So congratulations, Jockey. I really hope your business does well. If you need me to help you, just send me an email.
That's why we came to you. You're the big boys in marketing, and your communication is just amazing that you're able to help us to think differently. Thank you so much, Joanne. We really appreciate your time. Please do stay along with us as we keep going. But those words are meaningful. You should just see the responses that are coming through. Even on Facebook, we're so grateful. I'm just seeing quite a few coming through just saying thank you, a powerful word that I needed right now for motivation. A few more just saying, even just your positive attitude is changing what I'm thinking about. So many people are appreciating what you have just said. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Right. The pleasure was mine. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Our next speaker has really some insights that many of us would love to have. You know, when you're speaking with all the greatest business minds in the world, putting together content for business owners, putting together content that's going to shift what's going on. She's spoken at a couple of Centonomy events beforehand, and I've really enjoyed her energy and her passion for what's going on in the world, especially in the world of business. Terryanne Chebet is one of our good friends. She's now has been the general manager at Metropol TV, and also a founder of her own business, Keyara Organics. And it's so important to be able to speak to someone who is in multiple spaces so that we can have. Terryanne, I know you're somewhere in this group. So I'm trying to find you so that we can get you set up just now. So I'll get you to start your video. Great, wonderful. Terryanne, how are you doing?
I'm good, Waidaka. How are you?
I've been watching Metropol a bit. A little bit, because my children own the TV now.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know they do as well in my house.
Especially because we're using some of these tools now for, as you can imagine, we're using some of these tools for homeschool and all those things. So I'm watching TV a little bit. I don't own the TV anymore. But what I've been seeing from your channel, there's two extremes. There's the extremely negative things that the world is ending, and then there are those who are just speaking about opportunity. So as we think about reinventing our businesses in this period of time, which direction are you telling us? Do we just bury our heads in the sand, or do we pick up and look and see what's in front of us?
We must look at the silver lining. I think, you know that quote that says, do not let a good crisis go to waste. I think yes. that's exactly where we are as a business and even as individuals. We need to really look at what this means to us. First of all, thank you so much for this opportunity to be part of this panel. I must say I've really enjoyed the previous speakers. Wahoo, it was lovely to see her. John as well, and listening to Derek and just how different businesses are reinventing and being really, really agile with their business models. So as Waidaka mentioned, my name is Terri Ann Chebet. I'm the general manager for Metropol TV. We are a channel that creates information that we hope enables our viewers to make sound investment decisions. Basically, we create content for anyone who's looking to invest, whether it is 3,000 bob for a bond, a makiba, or you have millions of shillings that you want to put somewhere. And of course, content for entrepreneurs. I'm also, as Waidaka correctly said, a founder of Keyara Organics, which I'm a director in. We're a natural skincare company. And you can imagine, because our first business model really relied on sales through, beauty shops, chemists, pop-up markets, and online as well, we have now realized that, and we had to very quickly move our model towards online completely. And even though that was a very difficult decision to make, because we have traditionally made most of our sales through the shops and the other partners that we work with, our sales have actually not declined at all. Wow. So what we've just had to do is to really push our digital, make sure our website was back on track, really build on new partnerships that enabled us deliver to our buyer, our customers flawlessly. So, we've had no complaints on that front. In fact, we've acquired new customers, but basically focusing on digital. So that for us is very different, but it's also been really a time to really reflect on how do we really reach our customer. And this period, and for both Metropol TV and for myself, we are looking at it as, as entrepreneurs, it's a great opportunity to really have to focus on addressing the permanent shifts in our market landscapes. And, it brought to mind different companies over the years that have really disrupted the markets or even created new markets. If you think of a product like the iPod, and how Apple really managed to create a completely new market with the iPod. And then there's also the entry of the low cost and budget carriers. Before, airlines were just focusing on a very premium market, and the entry of the low budget ones really disrupted that market completely. Look at Airbnb and Uber and the likes. And now, even though our companies may be at whatever level, either it's a startup or you're growing, we really have to go back and rethink. I mean, the same person who thought of Airbnb, as John, mentioned earlier about the kind of mind that we all have. We have the same type of brain. We just need to sit down and really think, no matter how small our businesses are. And for us, what we've had to do now is really relook at our business models and try to really understand what our customer needs. It's sort of what you alluded to on creating that wallet and design thinking, and asking ourselves afresh. Because, as one of the other speakers has already said, we're all going to start our businesses afresh after this COVID. What need are we meeting? Just going back to the basics. How exactly does a company meet the need of our customers? And then from then on, drawing a roadmap or some sort of blueprint of how our company or your company will meet that particular need at a profit. And it could involve many things, including changing your business model very quickly, like the chameleon Derek spoke about earlier. Or it could be, looking at what your competitors are doing and finding a gap and just jumping at it immediately. So we must relook at our business models. What Wahu was telling you earlier, Waithaka, on now having to have classes online. Like, for instance, I follow Masterclass, and I recently did an online course at Harvard on emerging entrepreneurship, which cost me, about 13,000 shillings. And, so we must just really look at what the opportunities are available. How can our businesses, just take advantage of that? And what I've done in the last, couple of months is now really reach out to people within my circles. And, getting to call them often and say, hey, I'm trying to rebuild my X model. I'm trying to redo my financials properly. We're trying this. What do you think? What do you think? So there's been a lot of back and forth with people who have done a lot in their lives and in their businesses. And, sort of like a mentorship circle. And John said a dream team. So some board of sorts, not necessarily a real advisory board, but in a sense, they really are. And we must now more than ever reach out, because it's sort of like starting a new business, from scratch. And I often find that many people are willing and they're able and they're ready to help, as long as, you're very clear in what it is that you're looking for. I mean, I've had a friend of mine who, we speak on the phone on WhatsApp for, 1 hour, 30 minutes with my financials on my desk. And he's saying, okay, look at that. So I'm sharing, look at this, change that. No, if you want to make X amount by July, what do you need to do quickly? And just going back to, it's starting a business, basically, even though we started it in 2014. Another thing that I've seen we really have to do is to brainstorm with our teams, whether it's employees or stakeholders. We need to really make them part of the team and learn from them, because many times are the foot soldiers who go out, meet the customers. So making them part of decisions that we're making really makes a big difference. And then another one is to encourage our teams to be more entrepreneurial. And maybe it goes back to the hiring models. And, let's look at the mind of the people we're hiring, and let's see how entrepreneurial are they. If they treat your business as if it's their own business, then you're in the right place. I liked, of course, what Derek said about fluidity and adapting quickly, but we also must be careful not to shift, not to lose the initial focus of the business. Yes, sometimes COVID is thrown our way and we must stay profitable. So you can quickly run and see what else can we do. But sometimes you have to be really careful so that you don't lose your initial focus. Or what you could also do is to then create a new department within the organization that can address that, this new challenges that are coming. Finally, just on the human capital point of view, work from home has shown us that work can be done from anywhere in the world. And, it takes us back to the future of work, which is usually such a high level conversation, yet it now affects you and me. I mean, we've been home, we're doing sometimes 3 times a week in the office or 3 times a week at home. But the work is getting done. So if we look at organizations, we'll start asking ourselves, we may be headed the direction of having leaner stuff in terms of, one person was doing X job, but now that one person may actually be able to handle 2-3 different things, which means if you had 10 members of staff before, you can actually have even 3 or 4 that will deliver the same sort of results. So look through the JDs and see if person A can do marketing and sales, then combine that and let one person do that. Deliveries, etc. And then flexibility as well. I'm a mom, and I've begun asking myself, my children, for the first time in a very, very long time, have seen me home for the longest time ever. And I assume that even those who are working for me are feeling the same thing. They want to be home more. They want a job that will offer them the flexibility and the quality of life in such a way that, yes, I'm working, but I'm also home and I'm really feeling fulfilled because I'm able to be with my family and to be able to be with my children. So we really have to think of how can we still offer our members of staff flexibility, but also let them feel trusted enough to work from home. And also enable them to have the quality of life that that they have since embraced and learned. So as professionals, of course, we have to be a lot more agile. And then on the space and brick and mortar as well. So Keyara Organics is in a small building. We pay a rent of 35,000 shillings. Everyone who knows me knows I'm a bootstrapper. I don't try to, we don't do big things. And even now I'm like, okay, maybe we can take it down to 20, because what we just need is a small office, and I have 3 members of staff. So we don't need so much. And so brick and mortar, all of us will have to really rethink, do you need an office? Do you have an SQ in your home that you can use as an office and etc.? Then another thing that I see that will really, really grow is growth of consultancies. And if it will give me time to stay home, get the quality of life I'm looking for in terms of being with my family, and maybe even delivering more because I'm at home, I'm at peace. So we'll have to really rethink in terms of, are some roles within our organizations, are we able to give those to consultancies? Because that will mean on all these benefits and even the separation will be easier in different times. So I see the new office or the new entrepreneur being very agile, being very lean, being very fast to adopt. And that, I think, in a sense, will be what a resilient entrepreneur or a resilient company will be. So Waidaka, that's it from me. And thank you. I've really, really enjoyed this morning. I've learned so much.
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing. And what I loved about your discussion now, I think both of you, Joanne approached it from one direction, you approached it from another one, but you said, what is stopping you? You mentioned that you need to set real targets now. I think Joanne mentioned add another 0 to what you are aiming for. Why would we want to cut back at a time like this? No, it's time to actually move forward. So I really love that. The second thing that I love from your discussion is that we must also be honest with yourself and with your company and your employees. I think there's an article that we were sharing online. I'll share it hopefully with the team later on, and those who are signed on Ruby can share this with you. It was just speaking about share information as much as possible, and I think it was, yes, sorry, now I've remembered who it was. It was the CEO of Airbnb who was just saying, look, we don't know what's coming up, and nothing is off the table. Let us be honest. We want to be as positive as possible. I know our founder and the chairman of our board, Washeke Ndwati, has written an article about keep people employed. But there are some businesses that are just going to have to, as you said, cut down on employees. That means people will be laid off and jobs will be lost. And it's important to have those conversations as early as possible to be clear on what the priorities are and what's coming up. And I love that about what you said. You said, Terryanne, you mentioned that you don't do big things. I disagree. I think you just maybe are not you're not as lavish as everybody else. I think you do big things in a simple way. I think that's what you do, and I love that idea.